We are back for day 5 of Empower Your Leadership with Queer Integrity, and we're going to talk about your voice. That's your unique expression for authentic and influential communication, an absolute necessity for leadership, right? In politics, have you ever noticed how perhaps the quote unquote leader, because it's a big question of whether or not some politicians are really true leaders in the way I would define leaders. But you notice how some of them have such an incredible, powerful, unique way of expressing that has people literally enraptured, sitting on the edge of their seat, willing to vote for them, not because they're doing anything propagandistic, not because they're inciting something negative, although that certainly works in politics, but because what they're saying has such emotional resonance, seemingly honest messaging. They're saying something that really touches both the hearts and the minds of the people paying attention, and that's influential communication. So think perhaps of Gandhi or Martin Luther King or other visionaries, activists that have really clearly communicated a message through their ideas, not bash the right or bash the left or destroy this, but communicated authentically, and people looked up to them. That is their unique voice. And again, it's an acronym for vision, organic expression, impact, clarity, and engagement. So let's introduce voice by going through a definition for each one of these. Your vision is how you clarify the unique purpose and guiding vision behind your message. If you don't know what you're going to say, then why are you going to say anything at all? You've got to have a clear view of where it is you're going. That certainly is going to connect with your dream, which is one of the days we're coming up to momentarily. But knowing that your message has something much greater, much deeper, very broad that needs to be said. So it's not going to be a single catchphrase. It is a direction for change, for waymaking, for pathfinding that is found in the vision of your voice. O for organic expression. This is your unique way of speaking, I say in quotation marks, but communicating, imparting, expressing your message that's based on your life, your lived experience, your personal truth, how you realize yourself, how you see yourself in reality. Impact. That's focusing on creating connection and transformation, not just communication. Could probably just as easily say influence here, so I could say influence and impact. Influence is how people are drawn to you and want to hear more of what you have to say, and impact will be when your words actually have resonant, directional meaning so that people do take action based on the things that you've said. Clarity. That is speaking, writing, showing so clearly that others understand and feel moved by what you say. There's no misunderstanding. There's no uncertainty about the message you wish others to understand. And finally, engagement. That is communicating with others in the way that feels most natural and effortless to you, easy for them to communicate with you as well, building connections, inspiring others to follow your lead. So your voice is your unique and natural way that you communicate your vision, your values, and your wisdom. Okay? Your voice also depends on how you think clearly and logically, so you can put all of those things together in what becomes almost a seamless way of expressing your message. So when your vision is clear, your organic way of expressing flows easily, almost effortlessly, and authentically true to who you are, and you create lasting impact with your message that's aligned with who you are and what you stand for. And Clarity ensures that your ideas are understood and felt, and engagement invites others to connect with your purpose and be moved by your leadership. So this principle helps you craft not only how you speak or write, but how you also strategically share your message through the right mediums and media. That's my dog in the background, with confidence and resonance so that people truly listen and are inspired to act. So it's very important in expressing your voice. You know the way that you also show up most easily. For me, it's it's a combination of writing and being here on video. I feel very comfortable, but I know I'm better on video when I'm really well prepared, having taken the time to write things out so I can follow along and hopefully not go off on too many long tangents, but I can give the unabridged version of what is very tightly, linearly expressed in my writing. Your voice. It's more than just your words. It's more than just your speaking. Your true voice is your creative expression, your natural and resonant way of communicating who you are and what you stand for. And each and every one of us has a dominant or a preferred mode of expressing. This could even be tonality. Some people talk a little quieter. Some people are really quite commanding and want to be on stage and deliver in a way that uniquely makes them feel the most powerful in who they are. Okay? And that's what invites meaningful engagement with others. We don't know how we know this, but we know when someone else is being really authentic. And when they aren't quite there, you kind of have that feeling, right? Like, I does this person know what they're talking about? Or do I believe what this person is saying? Think of the visual artist. For them might be painting or sculpting or woodwork. And for the writer, it could be prose or poetry. Some people want to write academically. Some people want to write more for social media, more like single sentences at a time. And all that requires different kind of thought process. But that will also be a reflection, I believe, of how you show up in your day to day and express through your voice what you stand for and who you are. I would say for most of us as leaders, we probably show up in some form of writing or speaking or a combination of both. And how we express ourselves is very much context dependent. You might be having a one-on-one meeting, sitting down at a table, or you're in an office, and the office itself is going to create a different kind of formality, an office environment. It also depends on how you're dressed. If you're in a suit and tie, or you're just in relaxed jeans and a t-shirt, that creates a different dynamic that will affect how you express your message. Are you on a stage? Are you in a Zoom meeting? Are you writing memos, social posts, articles, strategic plans, essays, PowerPoint presentations? All of these things might be the way in which you express your most authentic voice that demonstrates your specific authentic capacity for how you lead most efficiently, most effectively, most true to who you are. So here's an interesting aspect about being queer. For many LGBTQ plus people, the way we naturally express ourselves through our voice, our tone, our language, our physical mannerisms often does not align with social norms or different environments that expect a very binary, you act this way if you're a man and you act that way if you're a woman, and there's nothing in between. So family, the workplace, and social expectations can absolutely put pressure on us to conform, maybe suppress or modify how we show up and how we express our true voice. Now, if you've ever felt that you needed to mute or edit your expression or even your voice, especially if you have a voice that maybe sounds different or gay, or if you're a trans person and you have a voice that sounds more masculine and you're a trans woman, and so on. Does that feel safe? Do you have to somehow change the way in which you express yourself in an environment that is truthfully not a reflection of your personal failing? Rather, it's about your survival. Now, over time, this survival strategy can fracture, can break your integrity, right? Because integrity, being whole, being intact. If you're always having to be something that you're not, if you're always trying to fit in rather than you are accepted and belong, something breaks. There's always this part of you that is being held back if you hide or silence a part of yourself. You might feel like you're disconnected from who you fully are because not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're not allowed to, you don't feel safe enough, or you've become so used to not completely being yourself, all you're doing is fitting in and you're not belonging. There's courage that's required in being able to realign and fully express your natural intentions and creative expression, the one that reflects who you are, honors your queerness, and resonates with those who most need to hear you. There's a lot there to consider, and I'm not suggesting with this exercise that you do anything that is not safe for you. But I hope by the end of this invitation to find your expression, perhaps you'll find some ways and courage to embrace your uniqueness and your queerness more intactfully, okay? With greater integrity, meaning allowing you to be more or all of your whole self. So today's invitation, expression, define your visibility and your self-articulation. First question is to ask yourself, what is your most creative and freely expressive form of communication? How do you find it really easy to engage with other people? Okay. And then what's your least favorite environment for expressing your voice and why? I talked about this earlier. Is it a formal environment that you just feel, ugh, I can't be myself here? Is it at the workplace that you don't feel comfortable? Is it with your family? Third question, where or how are you most easily understood? Where or how do people get you? They understand you. What makes that voice, that expression feel so natural, so effortless, so easy? Now the opposite. Where or how are you often misunderstood? What factors, what environments contribute to this disconnection? What is the disconnection? Can you absolutely define it and say it is this thing or this person or this experience or this environment? The last question has a few sort of sub points to it. How can you align more consistently with your natural voice so that you can create greater impact and connection so you can feel more powerful? Another word for more whole, intact, and authentic. Is there a practice or a habit that supports this alignment? Something that you pay attention to, something that you focus on one small bit, step at a time? Is this influenced by your location or environment? And is this something you can change? Or is there something you can do in the day that diminishes the energy drain or the negative impact of that location or environment? Does it depend on the format? Is it video or writing or live speaking? And does it relate to any aspect of your queerness? So if you are holding something back, if you're holding something back in your queerness and you feel that bringing even one part of that out would align you more consistently with your voice, what is that thing? And then our final reflection, a question from the margins. What part of your queerness do you want to acknowledge or celebrate that reflects your true voice? The unique expression that makes your leadership feel whole, powerful, and true. Take your time with this one. Be very gentle with yourself. There's a lot of nuance in this particular exercise. There may be some things that you've never considered or realized about how you share your message through your voice, the quality and the characteristics and the factors that affect your voice, and the aspects of connection and communication that go with all of that. All of these things, when really well understood and also well mastered, meaning well practiced, recognizing when something isn't working, that it may be because of A, B, or C, all of these things increase your influence and impact as a leader. When you're understood, people get you, and it's easier to make a difference. As always, share your responses in the comments and let me know if you have any questions or challenges, and I'll see you on the very next day.